This is Quest to 2000 Rapid on chess.com. I'm at 1975 right now. I'm going to review the last 9 games briefly and talk through my thought process and like what it's been like. Basically, I play the Queen's Gambit if I'm trying to rating climb with white, and then with black I play the Sicilian defense, depending on what they do, but those are my standard openings. At this point, I've gambited a pawn because I can win that back at any moment, and so I do. And now he's attacking me here, and this is a problem, so I am down a piece, and I try to make up for it by attacking the king and maybe swarming in on the rook. He comes back, which is the move I didn't want to see, defending everything and attacking my bishop. So at this point I am free because my queen moved out with kind of a tempo. At least I've freed my knight up, so I have some central pawns. I have a lot of pressure on his king, and I'm also attacking a hanging bishop that isn't attacking anything. So he should probably just take here. He does. And now, yeah, I'm assuming I made it complicated. I took the bishop while it's available. I could also take here, but then a knight move would kind of make the queen protect the rook, and then maybe then I take there, but I don't know. I decided to take the bishop because that way I still have this knight hanging, and this is still an option. He goes back again, attacking and defending at the same time, but that is a loose piece. I'll probably deliver something, maybe a check. Wow, I just blundered my queen. Yeah, I remember this. I played this on my phone. So he's beating me out the opening. I blunder my queen, but he doesn't see it. So now I move my queen, and from here on, I'm in the driver's seat because he's kicking himself that he didn't take the queen, probably. So I managed a castle. And normally a player at this level, 1900, will take the queen there. He was just kind of assuming I had moved it or would move it. And he might have been focused on the defense and not the attack. Okay, he delivers some checks, but now I have an attack here. And I throw in this little move. Okay, so although I've played badly, my king is really safe, and my rooks are connected, and I'm attacking his queen. If his queen moves away, I will be able to win this pawn and save my bishop. At this point, I'm able to save my bishop with an attack on the queen and the king. And I should be good to go here. I decided to swing my queen over. Not the best move in the position, but long term, just want to have it over there. And if I can manage to get this in here, that's how you win. Because technically, he should be up a piece. I only have 1 miner. He has 2. So he should win this game, but that last move, so this is me going backwards. That last move he did here is protecting this, but you're also weakening these dark squares for my queen. He has his queen. He doesn't have a bishop, and the knights are far away, so it's going to be tough to survive for him. So I try to creep in. He brings a knight over, and this is the moment where I can show you like what it takes to climb the rating consistently. Is sometimes you're going to blunder, sometimes your opponent's going to blunder. The key thing is when it seems like you have a moment to capitalize, that's when you have to consider sacrificing material. And here I kill the knight with the rook, deflecting the queen away, because I didn't want to let that knight uh, interfere and allow like f6 or something. Um, so now by 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 deflecting, so if the queen goes in here, he always has moves like f6, and although I can take that pawn there, um, generally speaking, I don't want to allow any f6 because I don't want his rook protecting it or his knight protecting it. I don't want that move. So that's why I go in here, because now at this point I'm threatening checkmate and there's no defense to it. Normally he'd be able to move this pawn and the queen would defend laterally. So yeah, that's pretty much the first game. This is the start of my little win streak. Not a good game for me, but at least I made the sacrifice when it counted. All right, at this point, I play a Sicilian. And some of these games, the computer says I play at a 2300 level pretty consistently. In this position, he brings his queen out early. I'm hitting it. He has to go back. It's just not a good idea to play chess like that. Because now black, even though I moved second, I basically am playing as white. And that's why I just attack in the middle, because I have all these pieces active already. And I'm attacking his bishop. I've started taking back with the pawn instead of the knight, because when you take with a pawn, it comes with an attack. He checks, but I could just kill that, or I can develop more. The reason I decided to develop more, normally I would take, but my knight is so strong in this post temporarily that why not take his most active piece, trade it off for my piece that wasn't doing anything, and now my queen's ready to come out, my knight's ready, It's a 3-on-1, and I have some pawns in the middle, 2-on-1, so pretty good position for black. Here, he's threatening my best piece. If he takes it and I take back, not great for me. But I decide I'm going to hop in the other knight. And this was a decision where I'm just like, go ahead and double pawn me, because if you move away from your king, I thought I had a queen here. And that's the purpose of this move. Is I thought if he takes me here, I will check here, and when he puts a pawn up, I'll take it, and then I'm winning the rook with check. And I just forgot that my queen had moved. So that was the point of that. So at this point, though, again, this is chess. You have to realize, oh no, I don't have a queen there. This doesn't do anything. I have to just take back and play with these double pawns now. So that's a blunder for me. But he quickly basically blunders back. He was afraid of it too close to him. So now I have these two really good pawns, and straight out of the opening, I mean, if you could play this opening with black, you'd play it every time. White only has one center pawn, I have two, and I'm past the 50-yard line. I have a queen developed. I can castle almost either direction. So he castles, but he's not attacking any pawns. And I decide this is another critical decision or veteran move, is like, I don't want to talk too much like up about myself, but I'm trying to help you, like if you're trying to get to 2000 or 1900. 90% of players are going to play bishop here, and they're going to hope to play this move with a check, but it really doesn't do anything, because I mean, it is a good move, but this move is long term. You have to think long term. Is there any problem with this move? What is the asset of my position here? The asset of my position is these two pawns. If he can chip away at these two pawns, the other one will be really weak. So my best bet is to fortify this before any sort of funny business happens against my king. For example, if I play bishop out here, he plays rook here. My king is, maybe I could check, but then I'm losing this pawn and my advantage. I mean, maybe I could castle, but yeah, then I'm losing this pawn. So that's why first I play this. And if he checks, I'm just going to play that and claim that um, that there's nothing wrong with my position because he has no helper for his queen. So he moves this pawn attacking this, but I've already defended it. So at this point, I can castle. I decide to castle queenside so that I can launch an attack and use this rook that's already near his king. Also, my king is safe enough because of this locked position. Also, I'm adding defense to this. So if he takes here, I have extra defense on this position. So take. And now, you know, because this position is so fortified, this pawn can move forward confidently now. So here, tricky. There is something happening here. I probably play a bishop out. Yeah. All right. And then he takes. And I take. I don't take with the queen because I don't take with the queen because he could take back and then, you know, maybe I win an endgame, but generally speaking, I like to keep my queen, especially when I feel that his king is going to be weak. So I take with the bishop, and now this is my advantage, and I just have to support it. So before I bring the rook to the center, which is the best move, I decide to do my little plan here, because if I get a pawn here and he takes and I take with the queen, suddenly my rook is attacking his queen and my queen is attacking his king, and it's pretty good. So he gives a check. This is the blunder. The reason this is a blunder is because I didn't see this check. I should have got my king out of the way. He delivers a check now. I have to move, and there goes my advantage. So I did blunder my advantage. The good news is I still have an attack going, and this position is still secure. And even though I lost my ultimate advantage in the beginning, I have successfully prevented his pieces from getting a lot of activity in the opening. But that is a blunder by me. So I just keep going with my plan. And he makes a good move, which is just to stop it. So I can't get that going. So by winning the center pawn and stopping my advance, I need to find a new plan. So here, I probably attack the queen. Yep, this is where my rook belongs. I did a job here, but now I'm rotating. And with these 4 centralized pieces and his king over here and my pawn, I basically have 5, maybe 6 attacking pieces, and he has like a few defenders. So he goes back, and now it's time to get the queen into the game. I am double attacking here, although I don't really want to open that up and be checkmated. I'm also attacking here. So if his queen gets cute and tries to go somewhere, this rook is hanging if he doesn't develop this bishop. And if he does develop this bishop, then I can consider taking here and even like holding on to it. So I decide to take. Another reason I take is because when he develops his bishop, he chose here, and the rook sees that through my bishop. So although I'm opening up this and it's getting pinned and probably lost, the good news is I'm coming down and winning his bishop and fortifying my own. So I'm currently up a bishop. He plays this because his pieces lack activity. He has to spend a few moves getting this pawn going. It's not really a threat, although he does have a sneaky idea of checking my king and winning this loose rook. And I missed that. I should connect rooks here, like this, or like that, or like that. But instead, I decide to move the queen to ideally the queens are traded and then I hold on to this piece, but instead he just checks and he's gonna win my rook. So I see that, so I bring it back, but now my rook is no longer defending my bishop, so he just takes it. So I have blundered my bishop back to him, and this is a pretty good game. We're both blundering. Not the best game in the world, but it's still, I mean, this is rapid chess. It's not classical, but it's close. So my queen does a good job protecting this. There's actually no danger here. The question is, can I coordinate my rooks? So I decide to bring it back to get out of this, to free up the queen, and also defend this way. And then these rooks can double up. He wins a pawn. Now I double up, and he goes here, and I go there. And I go here because I'm attacking a rook, I'm defending a pawn, and this rook is defending that pawn. And maybe, I'm thinking maybe there's some sort of exchange here that deflects this rook because it's a check, and then I can win this rook here. So he goes all in on this. I deliver my check. He takes. He doesn't have to do that. He should stay connected and see this threat and move this king and allow me to triple stack, check, and then, you know, harass him. But instead he just falls for this, gets a check, and then when the king moves, I am able to check him, but I'm also able to just kill the rook. And he has no checkmate, even though I'm in the back row. Any of these squares that his queen hit would be checkmate. He is blocked by his own pawn. So he goes here trying to checkmate, and now I can just come back with a check. See, this is critical as well. Obviously, you go here is the best move because the rook defends the queen, checking the king, and kills the queen. So the queen has to die, and then that's just game over. He makes it kind of interesting going for a queen here, but this queen is going to happen, and I can sack the pawn and the rook and even this queen, and I'm still going to get another one, so there's nothing there. All right, so let's do the next game. Dun, dun, dun. All right. Okay, so I do my queen's gambit opening, and he does his little KG defense. Not really taking any space, kind of bizarre. I probably win this game pretty quickly because I usually punish players who are too timid like this. Because I will take the center if you allow me. So interesting little defense by him, but I know it's not a book move and it's not legitimate, and he's, I mean, threatening to play out here, but I'm probably just gonna, yeah, I just decide ultimately, because you're giving me all day, I'm gonna fianchetto. And this is also a critical move. It's like, how do you punish, it's actually a good move by him, how do you punish a player like this? If I take, he can take back and have a knight in the position. So I decide to just develop my bishop, fortifying this and saying, go ahead and take me, because I'm going to take back with a knight and be totally defended. And anytime you try to kick this knight, this pawn is gone, and if this pawn moves, you're not defending that. So my knight will be parked on f5, and from there it will double attack d6 and threaten the king if his bishop moves. So knights are very good on f5 if there's no pawn to attack it. So anyway, here I fianchetto, and he hops in here attacking this, and at this point I can just defend it with a pawn, and I am not vulnerable to this because this pawn's in the way. And also, there's so many pieces that this is irrelevant as well, so you can get away with this move. Okay, now I castle, and you see that he castles, and we are playing chess. What is the imbalance? Well, I have a fianchetto, he does not. We both have all our pieces, but I'm missing a center pawn, and he's missing a flank pawn. I have a knight in the center. So does he. So it's pretty even, but I think white is better pretty significantly because of the fianchetto bishop and no drawback. And I have more space. He has nothing, no pawns on the 5th rank. And I have an immediate attack. So I play f4, and now you see the power of white's position here. Black has to retreat. There are no good squares. Actually, he could go here, but he doesn't. I probably at that point was planning on bringing the queen out and recapturing, or maybe ducking back. So I developed the queen, developed the rook. Again, here, because my pieces are basically all ready to rumble, I decide to finally make my break. And I'm also saying, if you move your knight, I will take. If you don't want to move your knight and you take me, you're opening up the rook to your queen. So he brings a knight in here, and at this point, I take. Because if I attack the knight, it's a bad move because you're weakening this pawn, and he's just going to trade it for a bishop, and I've accomplished nothing. At least let me accomplish an attack where now his bishop is silly, because if he takes back here, I have moves with the knight that discover attack and unleash a cannon on this queen. So he actually doesn't even take that. Interesting. He goes here. At this point, that's the end of the game. So he should take this, even though I'm claiming that it's bad for him. That what he does is worse, because this pawn is extremely powerful once I play c5. And this is me saying I'm going to win this game now, because I'm going to make it so your pieces are so cramped, and I'm just going to defend this forward pawn. And I'll have such a space advantage that I'll be able to kick this knight out and go after your king in peace. So he takes my bishop. My queen can take back. And then he takes this. And this is really interesting. So he's going, that's actually interesting. He's going here because he sees that this bishop is dead, and then I only have a rook to capture back. So he's obviously, this can't be tolerated, so I have to take. I can't take with the queen or he kills me. So I take with the rook. This is a sacrifice. And this is actually one of the videos I really wanted to make, or one of the games I really wanted to cover, because it's an imbalanced position where he has 2 rooks and a minor, and I have 2 minors and a rook. We both have a queen, but I have 1 extra pawn. So a pawn and a knight to his rook. Okay, well, this pawn is a passed protected pawn. It's a protected passed pawn. And it's 2 squares away from queening. And my bishop is fianchettoed, ready to wreak havoc here. So he puts a stop to that. But I don't allow this exchange. Because I'm claiming this piece is good, I'm saying I'll put my knight here. And the knight defends this nicely and keeps my bishop alive. If I can figure out a way to trade this bishop for this knight, then my bishop can overpower one of his rooks with a combination of a passed pawn. So he goes here, trying to undermine this, which would then allow him to eventually try to win this. That is why I play this pawn here. And when he takes, I just take back. Simple chess. Because of that one move he did, I played here, and I have still a trump card in the endgame, basically. Now his queen can try to escape out here. But first he plays here to protect his bishop and try to unleash an attack here. The idea is queen here, attacking here and here, combined with the rook. And maybe the rook can come up and the other rook can come up. And once he undermines this, maybe he can win that. But I first play a4 so that on queen a5, there's no hit on a2. Also, the bishop was attacking a2, so I'm saying, no, I want this pawn to be defended by my queen, at least temporarily. So he comes out, and now it's on. Now, again, I'm facilitating this exchange because what's lost in all this is if he wants to kill my knight to prevent the protection of this, then I have a bishop aimed at his king. I also have a rook that can swing over and help. So that's what I do. And now there's nothing he can do. He's fully developed as best he could in this position. But this pawn's protected, this pawn's protected, this pawn's protected. This knight's pretty good. This bishop's pretty good. His king's all alone. Maybe I come down and attack. Maybe I try to undermine his bishop so the queen can kill it. So that's what I do. I play this little pawn move. It looks like a pawn I'm giving up for free, but you have to be able to see these types of positions. If he takes my pawn, I take his bishop, so he can't do that. So he takes my knight. I take with the bishop. There's tension here, but now this pawn push that looked impossible is still possible because the bishop recaptured. The bishop doesn't need to hang out by the king anymore. He's ready to attack. So I take this. I'm attacking the king and the rook. He moves his rook. This point should probably just be pushed by me. The problem with pushing is he is winning this knight or this bishop here. I pushed anyways after a long thought. Yeah, I thought for like a minute and pushed. And the reason why is because I'm afraid of these two rooks against just a bishop. So I'm thinking, if I push here, I'm threatening here, which is threatening to take a rook and queen simultaneously. Plus, I have another pawn involved. They have to calculate. If I can make it so there's only one rook here, then this rook and this queen and this pawn become really strong. And this bishop's strong. I just underestimated his queen's ability. Best move is to take the bishop and allow this. But he does not want to be hit by the fork from the pawn. Best move is queen takes. And if I go here, the rook calmly sidesteps. And I can take with check. I don't have to worry about this. But he calmly takes back. And this is the position that I blundered into. I still should be winning because I have a passed pawn and he doesn't, but it's drawable. So let's go back. Okay, so instead he comes down here. He wants to get out of this attack, double attack. He wants to attack my queen simultaneously. He's also thinks he's winning here. Also, the bishop is hit. A lot of bad things for me to deal with here. But I play queen here. I'm out of the attack, and I'm threatening a queen exchange. If he just takes the pawn as planned, I can take his queen, when the rook takes back, I can play moves like this. Go ahead, take my bishop. I checkmate you. And while the bishop lives, you can't stop the queen. So he has to take this pawn and run away from my queen. He has just one rook defending the back rank now, so I attack it and I'm threatening the queen. What can you do? Well, he attacks my queen again. At this point, there is a capture and a checkmate because there's nothing. Oh yeah, best move for me, instead of doing this, is to first secure the bishop and just say, long term, my position is so dominant. If I just go back and hide here, still controlling this, and out of this, it enables this push. This pawn's protected. He has no threats. Again, if he comes down here when the bishop's back there, I could just nudge the queen up, probably. Yeah, doesn't matter. You can tell this is too much to defend as black. If I don't blunder this, which I did, but it still was too much. All right. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, in this position, I decided to go for it, attacking the knight. And if he takes, I take back with the pawn. And if I have a forward pawn that's attacking something, that is pretty good. At this point, I could attack his bishop. Let me go back. I should just attack his bishop here because the queen defends it, and then the bishop has to go there, and then maybe there's a way to take advantage of that. But instead, I decide to just secure this positional advantage, and he attacks my bishop. I go back, and he resigned. Oh yeah, right. So that shows you the power of my position. He does a normal move, which is castling, and then I attack his knight. And I spot that because of my pawn here and his pawn here, this knight is dead, and he's gonna lose his knight for nothing. So he just chose to resign. And that's that. This game I lose. I'm not really sure what I could have done better. He just kind of got me. Oh yes. Okay, so right here, normally I move the bishop in this position so that he has nothing to attack before I kick it back. But in this position, I thought, what if I let him take and I use this cluster and this open file to maybe get something? But then he's immediately just punishing it with check, and the queen's on a light square too, and it's just hard to defend because I have no light square bishop. So how am I defending this? If I defend with the queen, he has knight attacks, and then it's like, okay, well, what am I doing? So I defend with the queen like this, but he plays that move. Okay. He has all day to just target this, and like this is just horrible for. This is just a horrible opening for black. So I try to, the first losing move I make, other than giving this structure, is the knight back because I'm just trying to curl into a ball. Your knight doesn't belong in the back row, basically ever, unless you're repositioning. Here I'm like, please kill my queen. If he does, I was gonna take back with the pawn, so I still defend that. Here I managed to get an attack on his queen, but he goes back, and then this is just a really bad move because I'm blocking this pawn. Queen should, I'm getting out of this attack, but the queen should have gone here. Now I hop the knight over here. This is defended by a queen, but my queen is easily annoyed by things. Now I'm trying to attack this bishop and say, get out of here. But he just takes it. And then my king is just horrible. Everything is just bad here. And he's also winning this pawn that I pushed and didn't defend. So, and then my queen's getting hit. So I have to move. And then I don't have time for this move. And then now he's like launching an attack over here. He didn't play perfectly because, I mean, now I get this attack here. But his king's nice and safe. His bishop's done his job. And although I defended this, I've managed to lose a key pawn. And my king is weak. So here I was hoping to get the knight involved. But I attack his queen. And I go back. Also, he can just sack the queen here for 2 rooks. But he doesn't. And then I attack his knight, and yeah, at this point, I don't want to take here because the same problem. I start to go over here, but his knight's in time to defend that. Now I have an attack here, and I blunder into the fork, and that's the end of the game. Not much else I could do. Maybe, I mean, this move is always coming, and there's nothing I can do to stop it. That's what's so bad about my position. So at this point, it's 2 rooks versus a knight, and there's nothing I can do. I tried to attack his rook and hold on to these horrible positions, but he's winning this pawn here. I try to defend it. It looks like I'm defending all my points, but he adds a second attacker and my king's too slow. And then he sneaks around here and here. And then he starts winning everything. Yeah, I'm not sure why I didn't just defend that, but I was trying to like checkmate him. I was trying to hopefully get a check and then like a mate. But yeah, that's the game I lost. Oh, shit. All right. Couple more. Okay. So I play the Sicilian. Generally speaking, go ahead and take me here, and I'll have a bishop pair. That's the plan.
I get this position a lot. White thinks that they're good here, but I think I win most of the time. Um, so you don't want to keep attacking here because then there are sacrifice ideas and also my king wants protection. So I attack in the center, checking his knight, and then bring the queen out. Now he's attacking my bishop. I can tuck it here. And he does actually go for it. So I'll show you why I didn't and he did. I just go back here. I could definitely take here. And when he takes back, take. And this bishop against this knight and queen with my queen coming in, and I don't know, it's worth considering. But if I take, he does have an intermezzo taking this bishop, and then at the end of the race, I have a queen here and a bishop here, and his knight's still alive. And it's like, I don't know. I decide I'm just going to drop back because this bishop pressures this weakness, and now I can slowly undermine his king. But he's got a nice little attack here. So I go back, and now I can also consider sacking. He comes in and he's attacking the queen and the bishop. So I did do something wrong here where my bishop would prefer to not die. But the queen has to move. So I move the queen, not really with any attack. He should just take the bishop here, but this guy doesn't like bishops apparently. So he plays a pointless move here, defending the pawn that was already defended by his knight. So that gives me time to retreat, and now my position's good again because this bishop is hard to get to and providing long-term sniping, and this pawn is good, preventing the knight from getting active. So he plays his queen out, and he's double attacking this. I can just defend that with the rook and start to go after this knight maybe. He defends it with the rook. I bring my rook, and then he starts to double up, and I bring back. Now this is very defensive with my two bishops. This one is a key defender, stopping the knight, and this is also a key attacker, I guess you could say, but it's also defending my king. So he's got a pretty good position here. So I just play up because to also double up, and he doesn't really have any good discovered moves with the knight because he can't check me. Okay, and then he just blunders. So this was actually a very strong opponent, making really good moves until this move. He played everything basically perfectly to get an advantage. This knight is good. I had to be very retreative, if that's a word. Very reclusive, very fortified, very timid, very defensive, let's say. You know, what should he do? He can play his queen back and then try to use his other pawn. He can try to advance these pawns and get an attack on the king side, and then he would have a pretty good chance of beating me because of this strong knight in such good position, and maybe even redeploy. I mean, this knight is really hard to use, but he has enough that it's an interesting game until he plays this. At this point, now your knight is unsecure because I'm winning here, and the queen doesn't actually need to protect this because I have two rooks protecting it. That's kind of the beauty of my rook lift, is I'm not actually double stacking. I'm actually double protecting this to free up the queen in this instance. He takes here thinking he has a fork. You know, he's under attack. So he forks, but the bishop is hidden defending that. And at this point, the game's just over. So now he sacrifices his knight here. That undermines the defense of my rook, but it doesn't actually do anything. It's not like it's hitting a queen or something. So I just take his rook, which frees up my rook. And then, sure, he can throw in a check. But I can like consider moving or just taking. I take because there's no downside. I'm trading these two knights. I don't like his knight anymore next to me. You don't have time to take my knight because I'm going to take your rook. So now I use this rook to attack the rook through his queen once his queen moves. That's a good move. I can just attack it. Oh yeah, but first, because of this bishop, the hero of the game, because my queen has snuck in, now I can just win this pawn, and he doesn't want to trade queens because he's down material. If he trades queens and I take, and he takes here, I win his rook with check. So he plays out here, but now you're just losing to queen takes here. And when the queen takes there, I'm threatening queen takes here. And I'm also threatening knight takes. And you can't take because you're pinned, because your queen doesn't defend that. So that's why he resigned, because it's black to move, and I can take this freely. And then I'd be up a bishop and a knight. So that's that game. Okay. Do another one. I'm getting tired. Alright. So I play... Ooh, yeah, okay. So he just gives me a pawn out of the opening. I take. And then he's threatening to win it back. I defend it. He attacks it twice. I defend it twice. He checks. Okay. I'm like, alright, no worries. He attacks it a third time. I defend it a third time. And this is me being very stubborn about this pawn advantage. And what are you going to do about it? He attacks it a fourth time. I can just take, though, and now I have gotten rid of my weakness. And he brings his knight back with an attack on my queen. I drop back a little bit. Play e6 or e3 to develop my bishop to castle. He develops his bishop, I castle. I'm up a pawn. I have doubled pawns, bishop pair. Dream position for white. He comes in with a super strong attack on a super strong point, so not going to do anything to me. I decide to pin his knight because there's nothing else to do. He plays that random move. I move my knight here. If you take, I can take back and undouble. He plays this move. Good move, attacking the queen. I go back. My bishop nicely protects my doubled pawns. He plays that move. He's got no pieces over there. Don't know what he's doing. I bring my rook into the center. Brings his knight back, attacking my bishop. So I just bring it back a little bit. Still the pin is on. And now he makes this move, defended by his knight. This is a bad move because your king is wide open. So I can just duck that. And he brings his king up. Maybe he's thinking of putting a rook here and launching an attack like this.
But you're walking into a check and queen if this bishop is dealt with. So first thing I do is pawn here to hide my bishop from any eventual h4. He hops his knight into the position. Probably just duck back. Yeah. So now this knight can't attack anything, and it can be pushed away. So first, before blocking in my bishop, I develop it. And this was my worst piece, kind of. So I'm saying go ahead and let's trade. Because if this bishop for black dies, then my knight here becomes more and more possible. I'm trying to take advantage of his king position and my knight position. So at this point in the game, he does have a rook defending that, so it's not really happening, and we're kind of just staring each other down. So I play a knight move because I was thinking, hey, well, his weakness is kind of right here, and you know, I have a bishop attacking this, a knight, and a rook. So if I attack this, he either has to move his rook off center or he pushes the pawn and loses this pawn in the middle. Instead, he plays this move, which I really didn't see coming, which is defending the pawn with the queen and simultaneously defending his knight and attacking my king. But he's also granting me this diagonal. So now the knight becomes much more strong, because if I land it here, if I hop it back here, I'm attacking this, and let's say he hypothetically goes here, then I check, and he has to sack the rook, and I should win that. So he goes back, and so we do a little dance. I'm higher rated than him. He was 1838. I was 1960. So I don't want to give him a draw here, but he doesn't either. So he decides to take. I take back, and he moves his knight. And now I move my knight back. I'm done messing with this position over here. And now I see that because this exchange, my h3 pawn now does the job of anchoring in this knight against this rook. So I have a check here. He does manage to save his queen, but there is a check. And where's your king going? This knight is very strong here. You're never going to take it with the queen and lose your queen for a pawn. So the knight is perfect here. The king is on his last little area. And now I play f4. The knight, which is perfect here, defends my weakness, so I'm able to play f4. He takes, and I take. I'm getting rid of my weakness so that if my knight moves, because I have this move, I don't have to worry about losing a pawn. Okay, so he goes back, and now I move my knight back because I don't want to allow an exchange here and doubling there. That's not what I'm looking for. So I'm leaving this guy alive. Okay, now at this point, I bring this rook over more towards the center. And so maybe I can have more squares for my knight to leap into. He moves his queen. Oh, I remember this game. So I'm winning. White is winning here. Probably with like a normal move, like pawn f5 is really strong. Actually, that would lose this pawn. Maybe like taking the queen or somehow. I mean, the queen's protected, so maybe it's just this pawn that's in trouble. I don't know, but I decide to take his knight because I'm trying to be tricky. And I'm saying now your queen is undefended, so you don't have time to take me back because then I win your queen. And if you take my queen, your queen is under attack, and then I can win your rook. And then if you save your queen, I win your other rook with check. So I'm winning both rooks. And I won a knight. So a knight and 2 rooks for 1 queen. Not bad. So he takes and I take. But he plays queen here, which attacks my knight with a check. So, and the problem is when I check him, he goes here attacking my rook, and there's actually no knight move here which would defend the check and defend my rook and save the game, because I'm actually kind of just in a bad position here. This rook prevents my rook from being defended, which would save my knight. So my knight's dead here. If I try to save my rook. So instead I try to save my knight with an attack on the queen, because now if the queen moves away from this attack, the knight is still alive, and then my rook can move. But he checks me. And when I move, now my knight is for sure dead. Or he can just kill my rook. He does kill my rook, so I saved my knight but lost my rook. So in this position, you know, how do I win? He comes in and I attack his queen. It's a 2-on-3, but he's got a queen. So 11 versus 12, maybe 13. In an endgame, a queen is ultra powerful. His king's not in any danger. And so it's an interesting game. I decide my only way to win is to get this rook going, so I'm going to push this pawn down the board and then try to use my knight to like fork his king somehow. And the bishop is a good long-range piece and defender of my king. I have some pawns. I have a passed pawn protected, so he goes back. This pawn's hard to defend. I attack his queen. He goes here, and that's a blunder because my bishop. And that's the game. So he just couldn't handle my moves. I mean, here in this position, if I play like normal moves, he can just gobble up pawns and go win the game. Because I attack his queen, it kind of flusters him a little, because, and I only have 8 seconds. Yeah, I remember this. This is crazy. I only have 8 seconds left against 3 minutes in a losing position, and he instantly, like in 4 seconds, just doesn't use his time well, thinking that I'm going to run out of time. So I win his queen. I have 6 seconds left. I lose this game. There's no increment. I lose this game if I don't checkmate his king in 6.2 seconds from this position. Again, and he has a knight and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pawns. And I just have 5 pawns, a knight, and a bishop and a rook. And my king's nowhere near him. So 6 seconds. So how do I win? Well, he's winning a pawn right off the bat. I have to try to get a queen. This rook will support this pawn becoming a queen, and then I can try to checkmate him with the combo of the queen and the rook. That's the plan. The king cannot adequately defend against this because I have pieces that will help. So first I play that move. He blockades it. At this point, my best bet of winning this position, because my rook doesn't need to hold on to this pawn, I can use this rook to attack this knight. The knight doesn't have anywhere good to go. If the knight goes here or here, the rook and the bishop take it. If the knight goes here, the king takes it. The knight can't go there. The knight, it could go there. That would actually be a really smart move if he was a genius, to just give up his knight for the passed pawn and then argue that I don't have enough time to get a queen and win. Instead, he plays the most like logical move, like knight protected by the pawn. So if you kill me, at least I kill you too. But he left my pawn there, and I quickly, without thinking, I take this because in this position, my knight defends this and my rook is free. So I swing my rook over here to win this, to try to check him, to push there. And at this point in the game, when I attack his knight, I'm already calculating his best move is here, in which case I will take. If he goes here, I will also take. I'd probably take with the rook there. That's why I didn't do that, because that would be a check. But anyway, so then I go here, and now I'm saying, well, if you try to defend this, maybe then I don't even know what I would do. I'd probably check him. And then when he moves back, I would deliver a check over here. So instead, I play this pawn up. And the reason for this pawn up is because these pawns are very predictable. They can only go straight. I'm not worried about him queening or anything, because this pawn can kill. Maybe one pawn makes it through, but my knight's there, my rook's there to kill them. I'm worried about his king getting active. The king cannot move anywhere. And once I play this move, it's preventing any king activity. So I play this move. This prevents any, because I'm trying to checkmate him. I only have 3 seconds. So yes, I want a queen, but I'm also just looking at where can this king actually go. He actually only has 2 legal moves here. So he plays a pawn move. And at this point, I played my rook up here. Part of this strategy is I can
I can pre-move that. It's a safe move. Because I know the king is not attacking anything and the pawns can't attack anything right away, it's a safe move to go here because it's defended by the pawn. He can't advance. He can't win this pawn. And so I'm going to transfer this rook to here, preventing the king from going up and then securing the position here. And because this pawn has moved, the knight is going to facilitate the next step. So the king can't blockade. So I get my rook over. 3.1 seconds left. He goes here. I can just take with check here. Let's see what I do. I probably take with the rook. Oh, no. Oh, yeah. Okay. So I just ignore it because I'm saying, go ahead and kill me. By the time you kill me and undermine the defense of the rook, I will queen and redefend it. So I get the queen. I have 2.9 seconds. And I was ready. If he plays king here, I'm playing knight here. Excuse me. And the king can't stay there. And if it goes forward, I would play pawn up and pawn up. So there was no way for him to prevent this. That's what I'm trying to say. So at this point, I check. And he only has one move. And then I checkmate with 2.7 seconds left. So what's crazy is 2.7. From this position, I think it's 3.5 seconds is how long it took me to checkmate him from here. And I did it for the rating, man. Didn't deserve to win that game, but for the rating, I had to just blitz out a checkmate when he blundered his queen at the very end. All right. Now we'll do my final 2 games. Okay, so I played this today. So normally I play a quick Sicilian, but this is just a normal Sicilian where I play the pawn. I take. Anytime there's anything on d4, I just take it with my pawn on c5. And then this is called the Najdorf. I'm not a Najdorf player, but if I see a position where 3 different pieces can use this square, this move makes sense to me because none of them can use that anymore. And now I can develop my knight comfortably to f6 or c6. Yeah. So at this point, I start the dragon system, sort of. And then he is immediately being aggressive with f4. So I'd castle, and then he brings the knight out. Now, interestingly enough, instead of castling here, because this move is so aggressive, queen b6 punishes it because the knight is hit and it's pinned against the king. And if you bring the bishop out, well, you're dropping this pawn. And then it's under attack. And if you move the knight, you have to simultaneously defend the bishop. Otherwise, I take the bishop with check. Because the bishop's undefended. So, boom. Boom, boom. And then I have another move. So at that point, I can play knight here defended by this. And I can really prevent your bishop from stopping me from killing your knight and your king and this pawn. So that's why I should, and I'd love to play that way. That is how I would play in bullet or blitz. But in rapid, I'm like, I'm just gonna castle. I don't want any part of this. Sometimes those positions can backfire. So I just develop my knight, and I decide I'm just gonna play b5 and just fianchetto and long term try to get underneath his position. I'm not afraid of this move. I'm just gonna ignore it. Now he starts an attack here. The knight belongs in a lot of positions on g4. I should play knight g4. It stops bishop h6 and it attacks the bishop. And the bishop has nowhere good to go, especially with the queen blocking it. So it can block its rook or it can die to a knight, but my knight belongs there. I didn't play that because I'm still developing. I got b5 in and the bishop fianchettoed, and now I move the rook. This is how I like to play against the Yugoslav attack. When he goes here, I have already moved my rook so that I can duck the bishop back, and I feel that this throws off my opponent because he wants these exchanged, and I'm saying no. I'm just saying nope. And this is going to be a long-term asset. And this, for him, is potentially a liability. He takes, take back. Take back towards the center. I could take this way, but because my rook has vacated, I don't want this file open, so I take back towards the center. He's hopping in. He's got a lot of clout, I want to say, in the position. Very aggressive player against the Sicilian defense. So how do I respond? Well, I duck my knight back. The reason I do this is because this bishop is not very good if this knight is here. So I'm giving this bishop the chance to deliver a check here and get into the game. And then maybe I get my knights in again. I also have queen check if my queen's ever inclined. But for now, I play that because maybe I want to go here and attack this bishop. I don't know. So he hops in. He's got a really good position, and this is defended though, and there's no knight here to attack. So, also, the reason I'm moving this knight is because there's also an attack with the bishop. I'm basically activating my bishop that I'm refusing to trade. So now I am attacking his rook. So the stakes are high. Yes, he has a better position than me and a lot of attacking pieces, but I am attacking his rook. So if his attack doesn't result in a major material advantage or checkmate, I will be up material. the bishop also simultaneously defends my king and attacks his rook. So everything is on a razor edge here. He comes in. If I just take now and he just calmly takes back, long term, this bishop is very powerful with no dark square control from me, and maybe his queen can get in and checkmate. Okay? So I don't take his rook. I instead play the knight to here, attacking his bishop and defending my king. If I take here, instead of calmly taking back, he also has the option of knight takes here. I guess I could just show you. If I take here and he takes here, and I don't know, I go back or something, you know, maybe he takes, and I mean, what am I doing? I mean, he can, at that point, it's a check, and my king is just kind of, you know, getting ready to die. For example, that, right? So, no time to kill his, no time to kill his rook in that particular position. So instead, I hop the knight defending. So now if his knight takes, I can take with the knight. And he hops here. Now he's really just insisting on sacrificing on g6. That's what it looks like. So I play the best move, which is looking at the queen. So now any fancy knight footwork, you don't have time, because I'll just kill your queen, and when the dust settles, I'll kill your rook, and you'll have sacked a knight and lost the exchange. And there's no queens, so no checkmate, so that's good for me. So he backs up. Now I knew he would do that because the knight prevents him from backing here. He can't go anywhere else. That's his only move. If my king was here, I could just kill his bishop. So I thought about king here first, but I thought, no, I need to deal with the immediate threat and get the queen out of there. The queen gets out, and now I may play the king up, attacking the bishop, because the queen cannot defend the bishop anymore, and because of the fancy way I have dodged his idea, he now just has a random bishop here that actually doesn't do anything other than get attacked by my king. And so he can't defend it with a knight, because I would take it. So he goes back and I just attack it. And although I am no longer defending this, his bishop blocks his queen from taking advantage. Also, my knight is guarding there. So I have trapped his bishop. Just a simple trap of a piece. So he takes a pawn here. He takes a pawn here. If I take, maybe he takes back. Maybe he has ideas of rook check. He's freeing up his rook with this capture. But the problem is it frees up my rook as well. So now I'm still trapping your bishop. Well, he untrapped his bishop. Maybe he retreats here, but he's not a man to retreat, because he's already sacking his rook, basically, in addition to his knight, right? So, and there's no killer blow here. So he goes here. Now this is actually a threat, because now if I don't move my king, if I take the rook again, for example, he has knight moves that, with the bishop still alive, I'd be in check, and if I move, the queen can come down and check with the bishop, and maybe with the knight here, there's a checkmate here, right? So just to show that, if I take, check, and I have to go back because I can't go here, and then maybe he has something here. Maybe there's another check or something. I don't know. Sorry, I know there are better ways to make chess videos, but
I like making chess videos. And I just wanted to make this real quick. I just think chess is so interesting at like this level. Like the highest level, of course, is even more interesting if you can understand it. But this is like on the verge of not being able to understand it, probably. So anyway, hopefully you understand it. Hopefully I'm explaining it. So here I just take the bishop because, and I'm wondering, was there a situation? I think in this particular position, when my king goes over here and he goes here, and I go here, and his bishop is trapped, his best move is queen here.
Because you wanna get that discovered attack going. But instead he plays it now. It's still a good move. Also, it's a good move because you are attacking the king and the rook. So it is a good move. So although it looks like maybe I'm surviving, there's still a lot going on here where my rook is hanging. So I take his bishop aggressively, saying, go ahead and take my rook. I'll take your knight. And then you won't have enough attackers, because this knight actually does a really good job preventing the rook coming down and checkmating me. So he plays here. I'm trying to think, is that just a blunder of a queen? Can I just take the queen? Wow. Can I just take the queen? I don't know if this is a mouse slip and he meant to just take the rook, because that is giving up a queen. I actually want to see that. Hold on. See how it says black is slightly better here? King h7, best move. Knight takes g6, best move. So in this position, it wants him to bring the knight back or play queen over, like I said. So yeah, I play like all the best moves. And what's crazy here is it likes either of these knight moves, discovered check, but it's losing for white. But this move is just inexplicable because I can just take that. I don't know why I didn't. Instead, I went here. I went here because I thought maybe he has some sort of something I don't see. So I'm just gonna play here, and from here, the queen. I was thinking so defensively that I didn't even take here. The rook is defended, and I'm threatening to exchange his rook, or maybe just take this. The whole time I'm trying to just stop the bleeding. Basically, also I didn't want to lose my rook, so when I saw him not take it, I'm like, well, now I can attack the queen and save the rook at the same time. So that's a no-brainer, so I play it. But I should just kill the queen. Anyway, he goes back, and now it's the same position, except now my rook's not hanging. So I just take his rook here. Or first I take his knight, yeah. I can just take his knight, because if he checks, the king moves, and the queen and the rook and the king defend the rook. He's still under attack here the whole time, so he's doing all these things, but now it's just I just take finally. And mistake would be taking here, because then what's my bishop doing? So I take, and then I play queen up, and then again, even this best move is check, but I should just take the knight, or take the bishop to remove any potential he has to win. So here I remember that I take, then I take there, and then I double up here, and this is threatening a checkmate. And then I play here, and he resigns because I'm threatening his queen, looking for a queen trade,
and threatening his rook, defending the mate. So he resigns. Crazy game. One of the crazier, like that to me is what's fun about chess, is a position like this, where he's leaving his rook and he knows he has a good attack. He knows that I can't take here. Mate in 12 if I take the free rook. That's what I like about chess. Is like, no, I don't care about my rook. I'm attacking. He played a good game, but it didn't work against me because I'm defending just well enough so that at the end of it I win a rook. And so what's interesting is he's lost after this basically. Bishop g5 is a blunder. So best move is knight takes g6. Which one? Knight f takes g6. Okay. And then I just kill the bishop. Knight takes e5. I was gonna take with the knight to redefend whatever this knight is defending. And then he says rook takes f7. Wow. Threatening a checkmate, probably. Oh yeah, if I take with my knight, there's a checkmate here. So he's just winning a pawn. Threatening. So queen g5. Wow. Wow, look at this line. Queen g5 and then the rook sacks itself. And if I take, he takes, and then I take, right? Oh, I can deliver a check and then take. And now this is a threat of checkmate, maybe, eventually. But that's what I like about chess, positions like that. But he tries to save his bishop. He doesn't think I can just trap it like this and sack this situation. What I would do if I was him is take. But the problem is my queen gets involved. But even then, it's like, well, don't you have this move? Queen g7. Yeah, the queen just defends well. I was thinking, like, for example, if I play like this. Another thing is, if I ever, for some reason, took the bishop. Yeah, I don't know. All right, and then we got one more guy who just... Oh, this was a crazy game. This is my latest game. It's called the Smith-Morra Gambit. So I'm playing the Sicilian. And he just offers a pawn. All right? Doesn't bring his queen out and let me attack it. Offers me a second pawn. Okay? I could defend, but how am I defending after a recapture? So I just take. I could decline it and have developed some stuff, but in this position, I play my knight out to try to get equal with him, and then he plays his knight out, and now I cannot develop my knight because he would attack with the pawn, defended by his knight, and attacking my knight, and it has nowhere good to go. So I play e6, saying I'm going to get my knight here. Also, I'm going to get my bishop out and trade it to alleviate some of the pressure. So that's what I do. I bring the bishop out. Normally I don't do this, but because I'm up a pawn, I'm going to go ahead and allow this. And here I take because this pawn is a target now, and I'm one step closer to castling kingside, which will get me out of the inevitable danger. My weakness is right here because I don't really want to push here. I probably should push here now that I've eliminated this knight. But instead I play here because I'm thinking, oh, I need to get this knight out and castle, but I don't want to allow his bishop in here. So now his bishop goes here, and it's really slicing me. And this is a problem. I should probably play d5. But I play the knight here. And now I'm thinking, well, if his queen comes down here and attacks that, this defends that, and I can castle, and I should be okay. But he brings his knight here. I'm thinking if I take, he takes back with the pawn, and then he has two nice pawns, whereas this pawn's a target long term. If I can win this, I'd be up 2 pawns. That would be the game for me if I can hold on. So maybe don't take him yet. So I just castle. And I'm thinking if he takes, I can't take back because I lose my rook, but I'll take back with a different pawn. So what? But then he plays this move, and now you see the point of his gambit. He just has a better position than me. There's no good way for me to attack this bishop, which means I can't move this pawn, which means this bishop is blocked. It's just really bad. So right here's the critical moment. I believe I should just take this knight. And I wanted to go back in time and do it later in the game because of where his knight ends up going. It would be so much better if I could just kill this knight now, allow him to have 2 pawns, and still be up a pawn, and then move this rook and move this knight. Instead, I move the rook first, getting out of this pin so that any capture I can take back. But he plays here, and now you see that I'm completely losing. Completely lost out of the opening. Yes, I'm up a pawn, but this knight is coming here. It's attacking both of my rooks, and my bishop's blocking the rooks from talking to each other, so I'm going to lose a full rook, potentially, or lose the exchange. Also, he has bishop here, attacking my queen, protected by the knight, winning the game on the spot, because my queen is trapped. So I bring my queen out. I'm not attacking anything, because everything's defended, but I'm at least not getting killed by the bishop to here. So knight here would win the game, in my opinion, because at that point, my bishop can't move, and he's going to just freely win whichever rook I don't move. I was going to claim compensation by winning a second pawn, and then trying to win the knight back before it can get back. He stupidly plays here and attacks my queen, which gives me the opportunity to... It looks like my queen is trapped. I actually can't go here, I can't go here, I can't go here, can't go here, because the knight defends it momentarily. Can't go here, and if I go here, he can go there, and then that's an attack on my queen with an attack on my rook. And maybe that's what he's going for. But I play b6 because my bishop wants to get out so the rooks can save each other. And I'm also defending this, and now his knight can't fork me because his bishop's in the way. So he goes back. Threat is on. I can't do anything about it. So I develop my bishop. Now he attacks my queen. This is another problem for me if I don't kill it, so I kill it. And then my queen, again, is kind of trapped because I don't want to go into the line of the bishop or the queen or the knight, so I have to take this pawn. So I take this pawn, I'm threatening another pawn, and he has to go in for the fork finally. So he finally does. So I am up 2 pawns, I believe, but I'm about to lose in exchange. How do I best lose this exchange? Well, what I should see is the pressure from his queen here attacking my pawn. But unfortunately, I did not calculate that. So I'm thinking maybe best move is just pawn up. Like again, if I could go back in time, that's what I wanted to do. You might think just queen takes and there's a checkmate threat. But bishop here, then the queen has to move, and then my bishop is dead. So what I decide is I'm going to move to defend this bishop so that if I ever decide to go in for this and he finds the best move, I can move the queen without dropping the bishop for nothing. But of course, he's just going to take my rook. So he takes my rook and I take back. Now he wins this pawn. And I'm like, oh my god, I thought I was out of the woods. But suddenly my bishop's attacked, my rook's attacked, my knight's attacked, and I mean, it's just really bad because this rook, there's no way to defend this rook really, it looks like. And how do I mean, if I move the rook to defend the bishop, which looks natural because the queen stays protecting the knight, then he has queen c7 attacking the rook and still attacking the bishop, and there's no way to really fix that. I mean, actually I could play knight f6 or something, knight c6, but anyway, I decide bishop c6 defends, attacks the queen and defends my rook, which defends my knight, and I moved out of the danger. Great move, best move in the position, but he wins a pawn. Okay, I can win this pawn again, same issue. I don't want this trade. I don't want it because if this bishop is dead and this bishop is dead, he's gonna beat me 2 rooks against a rook and a knight almost every time. And I don't like that. Because if these guys are going to exchange, I at least want to open up the king for my queen. So I take with the bishop. He attacks my queen. Another bad move. He made a lot of really bad moves with a really good position. He beat me out of the opening, but in the middle game I outplayed him because in this position he can't challenge my bishop because I take, and then the queen is strong here with the knight coming in. He should be attacking me with his rook, but he can't. But still, he should be developing his rooks. This pawn, I just don't feel it. So I go here. I'm starting to threaten him for checkmate. And he resigns after moving his rook here because he's attacking this, but he's just giving me a free rook. Best move in the position, because of my last move, is to attack the queen. In which case I would go there, and then maybe at that point you play f6 or something. f3, sorry. Or g3. But g3, it looks like maybe I get in there. So let's look at the analysis board on that. Kind of a crazy game that I ended up winning just because of his little rook blunder at the end. So yeah, knight, just develop your knight. I mean, obviously this was a stupid move, but I felt that it was necessary until I saw his bishop go the other way. Go here, castle. At this point, it wants me to just fianchetto. Instead, I do that, which is walking into this. I get out, and that's where he goes wrong. I mean, I really think, yeah, best move is knight c7 because there's just no way. And I thought for minutes here. And this was the best move I could find. But b6, I mean, they're all bad. Yeah, they're all horrible. Anyway, finally I get the b6 at the right moment, and now suddenly black is better. And this is what's so crazy is I can take here. And if he does his annoying move, I play here and I win the knight. But instead we play like this. I blunder a pawn. I play the best move. I don't allow any easy exchanges. And he blunders. If he goes here, which is best move, right? Rook fc1. I would play. It says queen d6 is good, but what about this move, bishop f1? Oof, yeah, that's the best move. That is if he was a grandmaster. That would prevent the checkmate. And then he can swarm me down here, and he can win this pawn and queen. But in my defense, maybe here I see this, and maybe he doesn't find that. I don't think he's finding queen a4. But if he does, I think queen takes e4. Oh, queen. He's not finding that. I don't know. I think black has a pretty strong position here. I might have been able to fight, but basically once his opening was survived by me, in spite of me walking into it, I just got him in the middle game with the decision to put my bishop in the center instead of the queen. If the queen, most people, they take with the queen trying to get a greedy checkmate. Well, then he plays here, and now if I go back, I mean, there's even moves like that, but these pieces, when they get exchanged, make my position horrendous. Whereas by taking with the bishop, now if he goes here and I take, black's better. And so that's like a big decision, is like, do I go for the checkmate, or do I actually realize that he has a super obvious move after I try to threaten checkmate and when I win a pawn? So taking here ended up giving me the necessary defense of my queen and this pawn so that his rook can never go there, and he just blundered. So anyway, that's chess. I'm 1975. I got lucky a couple times. I blunder, my opponents blunder. There are still blunders, but it's basically the highest level of chess that I've played online. So yeah, hope you enjoyed.